Which city is secretly the worst place to ride a bike in the world? Today we're counting down the most dangerous cities for cyclists. And yes, your city might be on this list. In this ranking, I used official ITF OECD data from the Safer City Streets project. The dataset covers 32 cities across 22 countries. Some of the names you'll expect, others will surprise you. If you care about safer streets, or just love the good data-driven showdown, stick around. Okay, let's dive in. Number 10. Greater Manchester. Greater Manchester took the last place of this list with 12 deaths per billion trips. On the ground, Transport for Greater Manchester's plan is to keep pushing that risk down, with the B network and a big active travel build-out. The city region has a 10-year £1 billion plan for around 1,800 miles of routes and 2,400 new crossings for walking, wheeling and cycling. Public appetite is there. 63% of residents say more segregated cycling routes would help them ride more. 13% already cycle at least weekly, and 47% walk or wheel 5 days a week. There's also a big opportunity to shift short trips. In 2021, a quarter of Greater Manchester trips under 1 kilometer were by car. Number 9. Copenhagen. Copenhagen is among the safest places to ride in a whole comparison. Its cycling fatality risk is around 19 deaths per billion trips. The city highlights a very low per trip risk, with 81 seriously injured cyclists in the last reported year, down roughly by a third over the past decade. Since July 2022, you can bring a bicycle free of charge on all Movia buses and other Movia operated modes, which is meant to boost bike and public transport combination trips. Number 8. Calgary. This largest city in the province of Alberta in Canada sits in the upper mid part of the list. Calgary's risk is in the low 30s per billion trips. The city's safer mobility reporting shows no cyclist fatalities in 2021 and 22, with 29 cyclist major injury collisions in 2021 and 27 in 2022. Policy-wise, Calgary is pushing the classic levers you see in safer cities. In 2021, the default unposted speed limit dropped from 50 km per hour to 40 km per hour. At the same time, the city is building its 5A, always available for all ages and abilities network, a connected mix of protected bikeways and pathways designed to separate users by speed, improve visibility, and make routes reliable all year round. Number 7. Paris. In one of the world's busiest transit regions, Paris ranks in the middle of the pack for cycling risk, at a little over 30 deaths per billion trips. From the city's official road safety report for 2022, the number of cyclists killed fell sharply to 1 death in 2022, down from 7 in 2021. Over the same period, hospitalized cyclist injuries rose to 46 in 2022 from 38 in 2021, while the total number of cyclist victims declined slightly by 1.3% year-on-year, and minor injuries edged down by 1.6%. Safety improvements are driven by the city's Plan Vélo 2021-2026, about €250 million for protected infrastructure, including around 180 kilometers of new upgraded routes, safer junction designs, more enforcement to keep lanes clear, a 30 km per hour citywide default on most streets, and a major push on secure parking and anti-theft measures. Number 6. London. London ranks 6th on the list when you combine inner and outer London into Greater London, with 34 deaths per billion trips. Recent Transport for London safety data shows the broader trend. In 2024, London recorded 110 road deaths, of which 9 were cyclists, about 1/3 lower than the 2010-2014 baseline. The mix of protected lanes, lower speeds and enforcement is pushing casualty risk downward over time, especially where protection is continuous and junctions are rebuilt to safe system principles. Number 5. Montreal. Montreal lands in the upper mid part of the comparison at 49 deaths per billion trips. Official police data shows that the vast majority of bike crashes in Montreal do not lead to serious outcomes, but hundreds of riders are still hurt each year, and a small number of crashes are life-altering. The city lists around 1,100 kilometers of bike lanes across Montreal, and it's building the Réseau Express Vélo, a high-capacity bike network with protection and winter operability to make everyday trips safer and more direct. Montreal has a Vision Zero commitment, reducing deaths and serious injuries to zero by 2040. Number 4. Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires sits in a high-risk group, with about 85 cyclist deaths per billion trips. At the same time, the city's Plan de Movilidad Sostenible shows how fast cycling has grown. The protected bikeway network is now about 300 kilometers, daily bike trips exceed 400,000, and cycling's mode share has climbed from 0.4% in 2009 to 7% today. Number 3. Auckland. New Zealand's largest city ranks in a very high-risk group, at roughly 110 cyclist deaths per billion trips. A board report highlights that vulnerable road users, people walking and cycling, made up over half of road deaths on Auckland's network in 2020, reinforcing the need to prioritize lowest speeds and separation. Auckland Transport's road safety engineering program focuses on traffic calming, raised tables, new crossings, intersection upgrades, and speed management. Number 2. New York. New York is one of the most dangerous cities to cycle in this list, with roughly 123 deaths per billion trips. Despite large numbers of cyclist fatalities, the number of bike journeys continues to grow. City counts show record ridership. In 2024, an average 28,000 cyclists a day crossed the 4 East River bridges, up by 8.4% year over year. While the Department of Transport Cycling in a City series has documented long-term growth in the daily bike trips. New York City Department of Transportation reports 1,550 lane miles of bike routes citywide, North America's largest urban bike network, with 555 miles of protected lanes in the ground. Department of Transport also notes that 99% of New Yorkers live within 1 mile of the bike network. New York City has a huge growing network and booming ridership, but there's still serious room to improve. Number 1. Bogotá. Bogotá comes in first for all the wrong reasons, with about 233 cyclist deaths per billion trips. The city's Anuario de Siniestralidad Vial 2023 highlights cyclist risk patterns. For example, over half of cyclist fatalities involve interactions with larger vehicles. Independent reporting using official sources shows the scale. 65 cyclists died in Bogotá in 2024, the 6th straight year above 60. But the number of cycling trips continue to grow. The city reports one of the world's biggest everyday bike scenes. In 2023, Bogotá logged more than 880,000 daily bike trips and cycling network of 661 kilometers. Bogotá pairs massive bike volumes with rapid network build-out. But there's still a big gap to close, especially at conflict points with heavy vehicles and where speeds are high. Those 10 most dangerous cities to ride are also the ones doing some of the boldest things. But the truth is that progress on paper hasn't fully reached the saddle. Transit-heavy cities have all the pieces. Short trips, dense hubs, political will. But they need to connect them so every trip is protected, not just a showcase stretch. But hey, I don't live in all these cities, you do. Did the ranking nail it, or did it just roast your hometown unfairly? If your city didn't make the list, and absolutely should, drop it in the comments below.